What's happening, y'all? That is a tune called the Maids of Mount Kisco. It was a tune written here about Mount Kisco, New York, and it's kind of become a part of the Irish tradition. It came up at a session I was at recently. Just today, in fact, finished up my St. Patrick's Day gigs, which I just realized why I'm wearing this. It's really nice to be done. I'm exhausted, but I was at a session a week ago today, and that tune came up, and I hadn't really thought about it for a while. So it was kind of cool. Let's break it down. Actually, before we dive into the tune, check this thing out. This, probably didn't even notice it here. It's a silver whistle cleaning cloth that the folks at Lear sent me for my silver whistle. And I've already done it once, and I don't know if you can see that. It's already got some gunk on it. I was amazed how quickly this thing got dirty. So, thank you to the folks at Lear. That was cool of y'all to send that. I guess it comes with these now, just kind of part of the deal. But they had to figure out how to do it. So, now that we've got that, the whistle's looking all sharp. Let's break down this tune, and starting with the basic melody, A part first. This one's a little weird because it's A, B, C, C. Strange structure, which we'll get to when we get there. But here's the basic melody of the A part. Probably sounds like a lot of notes, but it's mostly just A's and G's. A lot of repetitive notes there, which we'll delve into a little bit more when we get to the ornaments. Second section jumps up high. So again, jumps up to the second octave, and then comes back and hangs around the A again. I'll play the whole A part all the way through. So here we go. And as I mentioned before, AA, so that whole bit would repeat. Do that twice. Then you'd carry on with the B part, which is shorter because it doesn't repeat for whatever reason. Fewer notes to learn anyway. Here we go. And then that section would repeat. So I guess it does kind of repeat, it's just half as long. I'll play the whole thing back to back so you get kind of the whole idea there. So here we go with the B part. And now we're into the last part, the C part, which is the same length as the A part and does the repeat, so it's a longer bit, but here we go. Second octave starting off. So that's the whole section, first section of the C part. There's a bit of a repeat in there when we carry on, somewhat different as you might expect. So that ending phrase is the same as how we ended the A part. Play the whole C part all the way through, see what you get here. you're able to get through that, or at least get most of that. We're going to dive into the ornaments now, some of the things that I would do with this tune anyway. Starting with the A part, I mentioned originally when we were going through that, there's a lot of repetitive notes, a lot of repetitive A's and repetitive G's in this tune. Right, so we got, starting off, the biggest and boldest would be the short roll on A. And I'll cut the B above it sometimes. And then as I come off the B to the A, so I kind of do a delayed cut on that. And then as I come from B to A, popping that top finger off. Now, on that G, this is one of those unusual opportunities that you can get to do what I call a triple roll. I'm not sure if it's got a real name for it, a better name for it. That's what I've always called it. It doesn't come up that often, but this is one of those times. So when I'm doing it, I'm doing this finger, top finger, the ring finger, and then a tap. And I'll do it twice. I'll do it on both of those kind of long held G's. Otherwise, not much there. Couple of little cuts thrown in on the top note, and then as I go from the G to the E, I'm bouncing that top finger there too. Same section as in the beginning of that tune, I would do the ornaments the same way, but then there's a good opportunity for a triplet in the end of that phrase. When I hit those top notes, I tend to drag those a little bit, kind of a slide, kind of just a long held note. And you could do a triple roll on that high G if your whistle made it work and you felt like it. And then to finish the phrase, I do a crossing noise. Quick, subtle little ornament that I like, especially to end a phrase. And I tend to hard stop that one. There's a great recording of this tune by the band Arcady, which I will link down below if I can find it on YouTube. I kind of stole that from them. They do a hard stop between the repeats of the A parts, and it just kind of feels like it calls for it now. So, carrying on B part. Carrying on with the B part. Again, long held A notes, long held B notes. Could start off with a good long roll there. Could just slide into it with a cut if you wanted to. I'll just do a regular roll on that G, I think. I don't really do a triple roll too often. Could do it. Kind of a short triple roll where you're landing on it. A little tricky, but kind of works. Cutting those top notes, the phrase, I've mentioned that a lot, and any of those kind of jumpy arpeggio bits. Cutting that top B, the highest note in the phrase. Another good spot for a triplet there. Start with a roll on the A again, because that phrase tends to sit on that high D for a second, and then cutting that top note of the phrase again. And then we're done with that. That's the end of the B part. Good opportunity to fire off with a triplet. To transition, that's the word I'm looking for. Transition from the B part to the C part. Same thing I mentioned before, a short roll or a regular roll on A and then sliding off of that into the B. So a few things there. I'll pop that B to A transition almost any chance I get. I like it there because it's accenting an unusual beat. And then I'll also hit that last note as I go from A to G and land on the G, but I kind of bounce off that F sharp. So it's got a neat little effect where it's, again, accenting some kind of unusual choices, I think. Back into a triplet to get back up to the top octave. Another triplet there. That's one of those where it's, I would say, definitely an optional one. But any chance I get to utilize some of the whistle's tricks, I'll always throw that in. finishing the phrase with a short roll. That's a trick I use a lot. Where there's a quarter note and you got kind of a good opportunity for a hard stop, doing a short roll before it really punches it up. That sort of stair-steppy walk down, you could slide off of each one of those. Could do a roll on both of the first two. The E and D part there, you could kind of accidentally cram it if you wanted to. I don't usually do that. And then as I finish that phrase, same thing before, landing on that G with the extra crossing noise. Couple of triplets to end that phrase. And as I mentioned before, landing on that crossing noise to finish and accent that last note. Let me know what y'all think of this tune. I think it's kind of cool, and I was glad to hear it. A friend of mine played it, and I hadn't really heard it in a while, and it was a cool one. So check out that version of Arcady playing it. It's great. Yeah. All right, that's it. I'll see y'all. Cheers, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day.